There is a belief we rarely question in leadership that power becomes dangerous because of ego, that leadership failures happen because certain individuals are arrogant or insecure or unethical. But the pattern I have observed across organizations tells a different story. Power does not become dangerous because of personality. Power becomes dangerous when it is granted without education. And what makes this particularly important today is that authority is scaling faster than ever before. Organizations are growing faster. Technology is accelerating decisions. AI is increasing the velocity of leadership judgment. But the internal architecture required to hold power responsibly is rarely taught. So, today, I want to explore something most leadership systems quietly overlook, not who holds power, but whether authority has been studied before it was granted. In most professional environments, leadership failure is explained through personality. We say that leader had an ego problem, that founder became controlling, or that executive lost perspective. But what if the real issue is not personality at all? What if the real issue is education architecture? Because if you examine how leaders are actually prepared for authority, something unusual appears. We train leaders extensively in strategy, financial oversight, operational performance, and execution. But very few systems train leaders in power itself. How authority changes perception, how stress alters decision making, how identity fuses with position. And when those elements remain unexamined, authority begins to distort quietly, not dramatically, quietly. The earliest signals of power distortion are subtle. Before visible harm appears, a few patterns begin to emerge. Speed becomes a performance signal. Dissent becomes uncomfortable in leadership meetings. Questions decrease in executive rooms. Past success becomes unquestioned proof. These shifts look like efficiency, but psychologically, they indicate something else: perceptual narrowing. When authority pressure increases, stress psychology increases. When stress increases, the brain's capacity for flexible thinking narrows. Curiosity contracts. Certainty becomes cognitively comfortable. And certainty is where leadership risk often begins. Because once certainty dominates the room, dissent disappears. And once dissent disappears, blind spots expand. This is not malicious leadership, it is unexamined authority under pressure. Now, layer modern technology into the structure. AI reduces analytical friction. AI increases decision speed. AI generates validation rapidly, which means something critical changes. Authority decisions accelerates, but internal reflection does not necessarily accelerate with them. AI does not create leadership distortion. AI magnifies the cognitive architecture already present. If internal regulation is weak, confirmation bias scales faster. If internal regulation is mature, prospective integration becomes deeper. So, the real differentiator in the next decade will not simply be AI adoption, it will be authority maturity under AI leverage. Which brings us to a question very few leadership systems ask. Before authority is granted, has power itself been studied? Authority is not inherently dangerous. Uneducated authority is unstable. Leadership development cannot remain purely performance based while authority consequences continue to scale. Because the moment someone receives power, they are not just receiving responsibility, they are receiving influence over perception, culture, and decision environments. And that requires preparation. Perhaps the deeper question for leadership systems is not who deserves authority, but has authority itself been studied before it was granted? Because power rarely becomes dangerous overnight. It becomes dangerous when it goes unexamined.